After chronicling the birth of the atomic age, Christopher Nolan is turning his attention to a centuries-old voyage. He is trading the theoretical physics of the 20th century for the maritime myth of the ancient world. With 2 Academy Awards for Oppenheimer, he reached a level of industry power where he can choose any subject, no matter how complex or expensive. His choice is a $250 million production of Homer's Odyssey. It appears to be a sharp pivot from the high-tech espionage and sci-fi landscapes that defined his career for 20 years. However, the themes found in this ancient poem have been surfacing in his work since the very beginning. Every film in his filmography has functioned as a technical and emotional rehearsal, developing the specific narrative architecture required to translate this epic for a modern audience. Nolan's protagonists are rarely traditional heroes. Leonard is trapped by failing memory, Bruce Wayne by deep childhood grief, and Dom Cobb by profound regrets. These are men navigating an unrecognizable reality. This aligns perfectly with Odysseus. He is a survivor of a decade-long war, now drifting through a world that feels increasingly surreal and hostile. The monsters he faces function as manifestations of a warrior's psyche under extreme duress. To mirror this internal state, the director treats time as a source of pressure. He uses non-linear structures to isolate his characters, making their journeys feel like a struggle against the clock itself. Interstellar uses the vastness of space to create a massive temporal gap. An hour on a distant planet translates to decades on Earth, leaving the protagonist to chase a life that has already passed him by. This gap reflects the distance Odysseus must overcome. A 20-year absence means leaving an infant and returning to a man he has never met. Non-linear storytelling visualizes this broken connection, showing that even when distance is crossed, lost time cannot be recovered. We see this focus on raw survival in Dunkirk. The environment itself becomes the antagonist, stripping away dialogue to focus on the immediate, visceral experience of staying alive against the odds. The massive scale of these productions often masks a much smaller, quieter center. The explosions and world building create an environment where a single human moment can carry more weight. For this project, that center is the story of Argos, the loyal dog who waited 2 decades for his master's return. While the people of Ithaca are fooled by Odysseus's disguise, the elderly dog recognizes him immediately. Argos wags his tail once in acknowledgement, and then finally succumbs to age. This sequence removes the gods and the magic from the epic. It focuses entirely on the cost of time and the power of a single memory maintained through years of neglect. Grand cinematic scale allows these intimate, devastating moments to resonate with a larger audience. The spectacle draws us in, but the emotional impact is what remains. This approach suggests the film will play out as a psychological thriller rather than a heroic epic. The focus will likely shift from the physical monsters to the mental toll of the journey. This adaptation also allows the director to address a recurring criticism of his work, the lack of agency given to his female characters, who often exist only to motivate the male lead. The character of Penelope offers a direct counter to that historical trend. She spends 20 years protecting her kingdom through intellectual manipulation. By weaving a shroud by day and unraveling it at night, she keeps her enemies at bay, demonstrating a level of tactical resistance that matches any of the warriors at Troy. Nolan's films typically avoid tidy resolutions. Inception ends with a spinning top. The Dark Knight ends with a hero in exile. These stories favor an ending that lingers on a question. For Odysseus, that question is whether he is actually returning to his home, or merely a memory of one. Ultimately, the film will confront the reality that after 20 years, the person who left for war is not the same person who returns. The home he spent a lifetime seeking may no longer exist outside of his own mind.